to the audiobook of New Social Studies, Grade 10. Unit 7, Lesson 10, page number 288. The Consequences of the First World War. Introduction. The First World War was the greatest disaster in the history of mankind till then. 36 nations of the world participated directly and many other countries were involved indirectly. The war was fought on land with tanks and cannons, on oceans with ships and submarines, and on air with aeroplanes. This war caused unbelievable loss of life and property. The major consequences of the First World War. 1. Versailles Treaty and seed of the Second World War. Versailles, Versailles. On 28 June 1919 AD, a treaty was signed between Allies and Germany in Versailles Palace of France, which ended the First World War formally. This treaty is called Versailles Treaty or Paris Peace Treaty. In this treaty, Germany was treated very rudely, as this treaty was one-sided and insulting. It left negative effects. According to this treaty, Germany had to lose 13% of its land and 6 million people. Major provisions of this treaty. A. War guilt or crime. According to the Article 231 of Versailles Treaty, Germany was declared war criminal and had to take responsibility of all damages made by the war. B. Loss of German territory. Germany had to give Alsace, ALSACE, and Lorraine, LORRAINE, to France. European Malmedy, EURPEN-MALMEDY, to Belgium. North Schleswig, NORTH, SCHLESWIG, Schleswig, to Denmark, and Polish Corridor and Danzig to Poland. All the German colonies were given to the Allies. The regions including SAAR, SAAR, were kept under League of Nations. C. Military restrictions. Germany had to keep its army 10 kilometers away from the border of Rhineland, RHINELAND, and it was kept under Allied power for 15 years. Germany was allowed to keep only 100,000 soldiers. New recruitment in the army, air force, etc. was restricted. Germany was not allowed to keep more than 6 warships. Germany was prohibited from manufacturing warships, tanks, and airplanes. D. Compensation. Germany had to pay 660 million euros all at once to Allied Reparation, REPARATIONS, Allied Reparation Commission. Coal production area of Saar was to be given to France for 15 years. 2. Unprecedented loss of life and properties. About 65 million armed soldiers were involved in this war. Among them, 9.2 million were killed and about 29 million were injured or missing. Many beautiful cities, modern factories, costly bridges, and large vessels were destroyed. Production decreased and many countries of the world suffered from economic crisis. Number 3. Downfall of monarchical feudalism and establishment of republicanism. As the result of this war, many absolute monarchies of Europe collapsed, and democracy and republicanism replaced them. The monarchies of Germany, Austria, Russia, Bulgaria, and Turkey collapsed. Republican forms of government were established in Germany, Austria, Russia, Finland, Ukraine, etc. Hungary was separated from Austria. The emperor was abdicated. Abdicated. Bolshevik, Bolshevik, Bolshevik revolution took place in Russia, and the rule of Tsar, Tsar, ended, and communist system of government was established in 1917 AD, 1917. Number 4. Formation of the League of Nations. The most significant contribution of the First World War was the establishment of the League of Nations. It was the first global organization. It was formed on the 10th January 1920 AD according to the idea of the then US President Woodrow Wilson. Woodrow Wilson. Its headquarters was in Geneva. 67 nations of the world had become its members. It functioned effectively till 1939 AD. The main objectives of this organization were A. To prevent the world from world war, B. To settle the dispute peacefully, and C. To develop international understanding and disarmament. Number 5. Rise of new countries and change in world map. After the First World War, some countries like Czechoslovakia, 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 Finland, Yugoslavia, Yugoslavia, Albania, etc., emerged and changed the political map of the world. Number 6. Rise of Dictatorship. It is true that the First World War ended absolute monarchism and replaced it by republicanism, but it also caused the rise of dictatorship like Nazi ruler Adolf Hitler in Germany, fascist Benito Mussolini in Italy, General Francisco Franco, etc. They remained in power by exploiting the people and murdering the opponent. Number 7. Worldwide economic crisis. During the First World War, a large number of youths were killed. It created the scarcity of active human power to work in industries and factories. Production decreased, which resulted in the economic crisis worldwide. The world started suffering from starvation, inflation, unemployment, and price hiking. It resulted into the extreme economic recession in European countries in 1930 AD, 1930 AD. Number 8. Social changes. During the war, most of the European countries had compulsory army training. When men were engaged in war, women came forward to work in offices and factories. They worked confidently and became conscious of their rights. Later on, women's rights movement took place in Europe and they were given the voting and other rights. The war changed religious orthodoxy of European people and they become secular. Factory laws were passed and trade unions were established in many countries of the world. Role of Nepal in the First World War. Chandra Shamsher was the Prime Minister of Nepal during the First World War. Nepal was an ally of Britain in this war. Nepal sent 7,500 Nepalese troops under the command of Babbar Shamsher on behalf of British government. Later on, other soldiers were also sent by Chandra Shamsher under the command of Gen, Gen, Padma Shamsher, Tej Shamsher, and Kesar Shamsher. I will repeat that sentence. Later on, other soldiers were also sent by Chandra Shamsher under the command of General Padma Shamsher, Tej Shamsher, and Kesar Shamsher. New recruitment also continued as war continued. A total of 16,544 Nepalese soldiers fought in support of British at that time. At the same time, Nepal provided £1 million to the British as support in the war. Nepalese force exhibited extraordinary bravery and made the British win many difficult wars. so the enemy also praised the bravery of the Nepalese soldier open-heartedly. Many Nepalese soldiers were awarded with the most reputed Victoria Cross and Military Cross by British government, and also provided 1 million rupees annually to Nepal as a mark of gratitude. Chandra Samsher was given the title of General of British Army. Even German Emperor Kaiser William II had once said about the bravery of Nepalese soldier, "I can send my army to fight any troops of the world, but my heart shivers when I hear the name of Gorkhali soldiers." Activity, page number 291. Number 1. Collect the photographs of the dictators emerged after the First World War and prepare their short biography. Number 2. Prepare a timeline including the major events and dates of the First World War. Exercise. Very short answer questions. Number 1. What is meant by dictatorship? Number 2. What was Treaty of Versailles? When was it signed? Number 3. What was the League of Nations? When was it formed? Number 4. I can send my army to fight any troops of the world, but my heart shivers when I hear the name of Gorkhali soldiers. Who said this statement? Short answer questions. Number 1. What were the military restrictions imposed over Germany by the Treaty of Versailles? Number 2. Mention the role of Nepal and Nepalese soldiers in the First World War. Number 3. Show the following historical events of the First World War in a timeline with a suitable title and scale. Date: 28 July 1914 AD, 1914 AD. Event: Austria declared war against Serbia. 28 August 1916 AD, 1916. Italy declared war against Germany. 6th April 1917 AD, 1917, the USA declared war against Germany. 28th June 1919 AD, 1919, Treaty of Versailles signed and end of the First World War. Number 4. Make a list of the consequences of the First World War. Number 5. The data given below is the number of the deaths of soldiers in the First World War from different countries. Prepare a bar graph on the basis of this statistic. Country: Italy. Number of deaths: 6,50,000. Germany: 17,73,000. Bulgaria: 8,75,000. USA: 1,16,516. Romania: 3,35,000. Number 6. How is it proved from the incidents of the First World War that the feeling of revenge cannot solve the problem? Present your logics. Number 7. How did the Versailles Treaty sow the seed of the feeling of revenge? Long answer question. Number 1. Mention the consequences of the First World War and describe any 5 of them. This is the end of Unit 7, Lesson 10, at page number 291. This podcast is dedicated to visually impaired students. So if you know anybody who needs this book to listen and learn, please share the link, and also please subscribe the channel. Thank you and all the best.